gloves are coming off.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable!
We're about to go full court press.
Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan!
It's time to play ball.
Malone looking for his first hit of the year. He drives one! Deep left field! That goes Upton! Back near the wall! It's out of here! Bartolo has done it! The impossible has happened!
Listen in as we tackle everything in the world of sports right now.
Stay off the weed!
Throw your hat in the ring at 516-572-7440. This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
That is right. Here we go. May 10th, 4:02 p.m. and welcome to WHPC Sports Talk. I'm Michael Merlo. I'm joined by Matt Leonard and Joshua Umahi. Of course, as always, as I always say, going through my recordings before, a busy Tuesday. Every day is busy in the sports world. As long as there's no lockout or pandemic going on, it's always going to be busy. But guys, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. The Mets are going to start a series with some batting practice tonight, hopefully.
Don't jinx it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. They do hit Corbin very well. We'll get into that in a few minutes. The Mets are in Washington. Josh, how you doing?
Very good, very good. I came in here excited. Very interesting night in sports last night.
Yes.
I got a lot on my mind. Can't wait to get into it.
All the NBA playoffs, of course. We are going to start, I think, with the NBA playoffs actually today.
Okay.
We didn't get to the NBA yesterday. We got into some trouble at the end yesterday, too. But we won't talk about that.
Come on.
I know, I'm sorry. And Tom Brady. I also want to talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady is back in the news, of course, and it's not because of playing. It's not because of playing. But let's start in the NBA because last night was a very interesting night, in my opinion. Josh, I'm sure you have a ton of opinions on this.
Yes.
But I do want to start with the Boston Celtics. They even up the series against the Milwaukee Bucks. So they've both won a game in each other's building. Series is 2-2. You know, when we came into the series, at least I did, I thought that the winner of this game was going to go to the finals and actually win the finals.
I agree with you.
But I didn't think it'd be this evenly matched. It is. They are perfectly even, and this is without Chris Middleton.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an unbelievable series. This has probably been the best second round series out of all the series. Yeah, they're going at it. They're at each other's necks. There's no corny drama out of it like some other series too. It's just straight hooping, straight competitive basketball.
I feel like it's very physical too.
Extremely physical. And I remember last week, I think it was, we were asked what do the Celtics need to do after the Bucks won Game 1? It's like they got to step their physicality up. And what we saw last night, and again, they lost the home court advantage Game 1. They needed to go into Milwaukee. They knew they had to win a road game at some point to get back that home court advantage. And it's funny. NBA playoffs is funny just when you analyze the series because if you're the Bucks, you're leading by double digits in the fourth quarter. You're doing a pretty good job on Jason Tatum to that point. Jaylen Brown isn't that much of a factor. And out of nowhere comes Al Horford, who's 50 years old at this point. He drops 30 points, dunks on Giannis. It just carries them to the win. So it's crazy things like that happen, and those are the type of players you got to watch out for going forward in the series. Those role players, the Horfords and the Drew Holidays and all these guys.
Marcus Smart, guys like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jason Tatum had 12 points going into the 18 or 12 points going into the fourth quarter.
Either way, he finished with 30.
And he finished with 30. He had a big fourth quarter, so he just looks like... I mean, I think Giannis, honestly, you know how I feel about Kevin Durant. I've thought Kevin Durant was the best player. The more I watch Giannis Antetokounmpo, I say, that guy is different.
Yeah.
That guy looks different than anybody we've ever seen. So I'm going to take that opinion away of Kevin Durant. I'm going to say it's Giannis. He's the best player. But Tatum, man, he hits big shot after big shot, ice in his veins. He had a big three to really seal the deal, put them up, I think, 9 or 10 with about a minute and a half to go last night. Tatum, every time I watch him, too, he impresses me. He's been unbelievable.
It's crazy that, again, you watch him last series, and he's going toe-to-toe. Not even toe-to-toe. He outplays Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
You mentioned. Outplayed him and swept him in 4 games, and it's you always wonder when you're watching a star turn from one of these young players, especially in the playoffs. So I think we're seeing Jason Tatum's
become a superstar.
Become a superstar, a potential. He was always top 15, top 20 to me, middling around there. But I think by the end of this playoff run, and I really like the Celtics team. They play a great defense, physical defense. They do everything that you need to do to win in the playoffs. That's a big credit to Ime Udoka. And Jason Tatum is right in the middle of that and at the forefront of it, actually. He's really, him and Jaylen Brown, just, again, those two. And again, Al Horford played great yesterday, but those two, it's hard to contend with because either one of those two can beat you on any given night.
Great coaching, you said, Ime Udoka.
Yes.
He is a great coach, of
and
course.
I think he was on the Nets staff last year.
He was on the Brooklyn Nets staff. Now, did you guys see? So Giannis had I don't know if he would say he dunked on Al Horford, but Al Horford was guarding him. He had a dunk, and he almost hit him, he slapped him on accident. And Horford, I saw this on ESPN or some social media, that Horford was pissed. He was really mad. And then Al Horford's sister, who was very vocal on Twitter, tweeted, "Oh, I know that face. He's mad. He was mad. This is where you guys made a mistake right here." And then he goes back and he dunks on Giannis like Josh mentioned before. He was very impressive. And it makes you think, wow, Philadelphia ruins people's lives, but they may have ruined Al Horford's life for a few years. What the hell were they doing with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that you mentioned that because imagine thinking you're taunting Al Horford and you're thinking nothing of it. Whole time you just lit the fire under this guy.
Who expects him to go off like that?
Nobody would have seen that coming, especially Giannis, so that's crazy. And I mean, since he was, in Philadelphia after he left Boston and then he went on to OKC, it was he kind of forgot about him.
He was like a journeyman for a while because nobody wanted him.
Exactly, and he was on the rebuilding Thunder, and he comes back to the Celtics, and apparently he's back again.
He's playing a big role for them. That's why.
Yeah. Now it is a contract year though. So
he had He also had a ton of money tied to the contract that I think Philadelphia gave him.
Yeah.
So nobody wanted him. So it was. I think when they traded for him, Boston, it was like a throw-in. Please take this guy. We'll give you another player too. And that's what it was. And he stepped up big time all season. He was making big shots against Brooklyn too, late.
Yes.
Hitting 3-pointers late against Brooklyn. So this isn't something that just came out of nowhere. He was playing well late in the season and in this postseason. Let me ask you this: you watch more Bucks than I do.
Okay.
Do you feel as though, because the more I watch them now, I start to believe it, do you think they get a little leniency when it comes to calls? Do you think or is it just their nature that they play tougher than other teams? Because I feel like they're more physical with compared to any other team, and they get away with it more.
To that point, and again, that's why this series is so compelling. You have two extremely physical teams. And the Bucks are the more physical team. They've played that way all season long.
How crazy is that? We're saying they're more physical than the Celtics after the Nets series we just watched.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to say, but we remember the championship run
but you're
last
right,
season.
yeah.
It's incredible. And Giannis, it's kind of a mixture to me, Mike. It's Giannis is widely regarded as the best player in the world now. So, when you have that title and you have that idea about you, you're going to get a lot of calls.
You're going to get a lot of calls.
That was LeBron for a while.
LeBron, you saw with other guys in the past. Michael Jordan used to get a lot of calls. Superstar calls are a real thing. So I think we're seeing that to some extent. And I see Celtics fans just livid about it.
The whole Marcus Smart thing with when he wasn't fouled in the shooting motion or whatever, that was BS.
You think so? You think it was a bad call?
I think that was a bad. I think they should have gotten 3 free throws. No guarantee you would have made all 3. No guarantee they would have won the game. Right. Whatever. We can't speculate that. But he should have gotten 3 free throws. The game could have been tied.
That's another thing too. And again, I've really enjoyed the playoffs so far. But some of the refereeing, is really just terrible.
Not good.
It's awful. I mean, we see it in this series.
West too.
Out west, we saw in the Warriors Grizzlies series. Chris Paul gets called for a ticky-tack foul for a 6th foul on Jalen Brunson.
Chris Paul got fined for yelling at people for harassing his family and his mother.
That's crazy to think about, right? That's actually wild.
That's insanity.
Where do these fans gain the courage to do that?
And the fan goes, I was trying to hug his mom. Did you think his mom wanted a hug from you, a random Mavericks fan? Really?
No, of course not. It's like listen, I go to a bunch of games, right? I've gone to a ton of baseball games already this season. To me, I don't feel entitled in any way. I feel like I have the right to boo you if you're playing bad. I feel very strongly about that, and we've talked about it. But I don't feel as though I should break rules or even the law that I paid money to get there. I could just do whatever I want.
So the Yankee fans are the garbage.
Exactly. It's like these people, man. They don't understand rules. It's clear you don't understand rules.
It's wild.
Of life.
I have a theory about that because again, in the social media era, we're as close to these athletes and celebrities as we've ever been. It's kind of funny to think about. You can just at Kevin Durant or somebody.
He'll tweet you back.
He'll tweet you back. But again, to that point, it's like fans who don't know any better and live in like this warped reality, they think they can just do anything to these players. And no, you are a fan. They're a player. You can't just say anything. And the family stuff is wild too. Because again, if you're like Kyrie Irving and you're yelling at Kyrie and you're like yelling obscenities and stuff like that, again, that's different. You're going right at him.
Yeah.
So annoy somebody's family to the point where you're having Chris Paul yell at you mid-game, like that's something different. I don't remember ever seeing.
I've never seen that.
Chris Paul's not the problem in that case.
Of
The
course
fan
not.
is the player in that case.
He was banned for life from the stadium, I believe.
He was?
I believe so.
Good. And on top of that, you talked about Kyrie Irving and how the fans were screaming things at him and they were tough. And I was actually listening to the past show where we talked about that after Game 1. And I don't know. I feel like Kyrie Irving, if a fan, I don't know. I go back and forth. Like, yes, you should be held to a higher standard, but they are attacking you and just you at that point.
Right, yeah.
They aren't, touching your mother. Like,
right.
That's crazy.
He was fine. Doesn't matter. Either way, we move on. The Warriors take a 3-1 lead against the Grizzlies last night. That was an ugly game.
Yeah,
ugly. I watched the first half. Oh, my God.
But this was no John Morant.
Yes, that and the fact that the Warriors started like 0-50 from 3. So they didn't look like themselves and just...
They got it done, though.
They got it done. Again, in the playoffs, you got to win pretty sometimes, you got to win ugly sometimes.
They won really pretty their last time out, so it makes up for it.
Can we talk about the whole John Morant, Jordan Poole knee tug thing?
Oh,
yes.
That was interesting.
Did you believe it was a dirty play or not so much?
No, because...
Yeah, I say no also.
Because, again, I know the Dylan Brooks thing happened. And
explain the play, by the way.
The Jordan Poole play.
Yes.
So, I think the Warriors are up 20 at this point. John's still in the game. He's battling. It's John Morant. He's going to keep coming at you. So they're scrambling for a loose ball. Jordan Poole's grabbing at the ball. He actually swiped the ball. Ja got it back. And then there's a little knee tug. And I felt, and I guess people disagree, that Jordan Poole was going for the ball.
If you watch the whole game, that wasn't the play where Ja hurt his knee. That may have aggravated it. That wasn't where he hurt his knee.
That's a great point because there was a clip, posted on Twitter shortly after, and it was John Morant basically launching his right leg into Klay Thompson on the contest.
And then Ja ended up tweeting about it, and once he realized that doesn't work out, he took it down.
That's actually he does know he's like a professional athlete, right?
But he knows he's wrong.
That and with millions of followers.
I'm fine with that. Like, if he knows he's wrong, he took it down, he accepts defeat. Okay, look, maybe he realizes it wasn't dirty. He admits it. Look at Kevin Durant, who leaves all this garbage and dirty laundry out to dry on Twitter.
I know, but just, I don't know, just the art of deleting a tweet when you're like a celebrity like that. Like, it's not going anywhere. We saw you.
Yeah.
And if you're going to delete it, why tweet it?
Yeah.
Have that wherewithal and thought of, that before you go.
He was heated. It was, he just had a big loss. I get it.
I
get it.
The Grizzlies were 20-4 without him this season, and they were plus 9.5. And I really liked them before the game. I just didn't take anything, but of course they did cover because they went by 3. It was 101-98. Interesting that they were 20-4 without him during the regular season. Now let me ask you this: I believe that he should get the supermax contract, but he's going to be all NBA. And he's going to be up for a 5-year extension worth the $220 million. Now, the fact that guys like Zion and RJ haven't been all NBA, they're up for a max extension, but not the supermax. They're up for the 5 years, I think, 180?
Yeah.
He gets that, right? Like, there's just no doubt about it. He gets the $220 million from the Grizzlies. He's their superstar, the biggest star in Memphis right now. I don't think there's any doubt.
Well, I don't know how many other stars there are in Memphis, but
he may be the biggest one in a while.
Yeah.
Could be ever if he continues this trend.
Honestly, if he keeps playing like this, he'll be their best player in franchise history. No problem.
Yeah.
No question.
The funny thing about that contract, too, again, you obviously give it to John Morant, right? He's your superstar. You can build around him. But I hate to be this guy. Some of the injuries we've seen, like, again, 20-4 without John Morant this season, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Says something.
He missed 24 games. And again, he's had injury problems last year, and we saw it again in this series. It's like we remember guys like Derrick Rose and guys.
That's exactly who I was going to bring up.
They're freakishly athletic and they land wildly when they come down on dunks. It's like you start to wonder about that with John Morant.
You don't want to think about it though with him. You don't want to even consider that.
That'd be terrible.
An option with Ja. Hopefully he could just figure it out and stay healthy. I know it's not that easy.
Is it crazy to say I think he's better than prime Derrick Rose?
I got into a Twitter argument with somebody a couple months ago about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you say was better?
I said Ja was better.
Ja is better.
I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, Ja's better than
way
this
better
guy.
shooter than Rose was.
Yes, that is true. I'm a Derrick Rose guy, but
Neither one is a great defender, but they don't have to be because their offense is so good.
right.
I would give it to Ja.
Yeah.
Just because of how he's a better shooter and therefore he scores more points.
I would go Derrick Rose, but it's neck and neck.
It's right there.
It's right there.
It's
really
close.
is.
Yeah, they play very similar play styles. So
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about our little brothers down in Philadelphia. They are getting ready for a game tonight, Game 5 in Miami. Inconsistent team. And listen, they were without Joel Embiid for the first 2 games, but either way, they've been consistent this season. James Harden has figured it out, it looks like, but I don't know. I think fans are still unhappy with him. How could you be happy with his performance so far? And when you even talk about the thought of them signing him to a 5-year contract worth $200 million in the offseason, I mean, how could you even consider that? I mean, it's Daryl Morey. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants. He's not going to listen to anybody. He's not going to, make the smart decision. I'm sure he's going to give his buddy, who he daps up in front of private jets in the freezing cold in Philadelphia, James Harden, whatever the hell he wants.
Exactly. And that was like an interesting subplot that a lot of people missed when the trade happened. I mean, we're wondering, why would James Harden request a trade out of Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and part-time Kyrie Irving? It's still Kyrie Irving, but why would you do that? Well, again, he's a free agent this summer, like Mike mentioned.
Yep.
And he's due for a 5-year Supermax contract. And who are you going to go to when you really want that money? You're going to go to your buddy Daryl Morey. And again, you're playing with Joel Embiid, so that's a bonus. But I feel like that was a really important part of the trade for him.
If I'm Joel Embiid and I know anything about the game of basketball, I refuse to let them sign him, or I say it's him or me.
Yeah, I would. You're right about that. Do
would
not make this colossal mistake for this franchise.
No way.
It would be a wild mistake. Like, again, from what we've seen this season, especially since he's been in Philadelphia, I mean, those first 4 games, like 2 of them are against the Knicks. Oh, he looked great. Oh, Kareem and Magic Light and all this stuff. I'm like, no, stop it.
I saw that. I started to buy in a little bit. I was buying in on Philadelphia. Yeah.
I mean, the way they looked, I could understand.
I mean, they're still in it right now.
They could very well
They're
win the
not out of it
series.
yet.
Yeah, it's 2-2 against the banged up Miami team,
And it was 2-0 before this.
Yeah.
In Miami's favor.
And they just got Embiid back. They won the next 2 with him. It was at home. Let's see what I'm excited for tonight's game. I'm going to watch that. And
very intriguing.
They can win this series. They can win this series.
So they can go to the conference finals, you think?
They're not going past. They're not. There's no way they get past this. And I think, honest to God, I think their fans realize this too. I think Philly fans are like, okay, let's win this one. Let's beat the 1 seed. And then we're playing with house money if we get to the conference championship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, from what we've seen from Harden, again, he's looked terrible until that last game where he dropped 31.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid is great. I mean, great.
He's playing with a broken face.
Broken face, just doing what he normally does, right?
Yeah.
So he's great. Doc Rivers is great sometimes. But
Glenn.
We know Glenn's resume at times. So, yeah, it can go either way this series. And again, if they happen to win... I think most people would agree with this. The winner of Bucks Celtics is going to the NBA Finals.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's pretty clear to me.
Even if the Heat win, they're not going to beat the Bucks or the Celtics. No way.
No. They don't have enough star power to match up with either one of those teams.
The West is interesting, though, because I don't know if any of them can beat the Bucks or Celtics, but they could. The Warriors could beat the Bucks or Celtics, possibly.
Yes.
It'd be a great series.
Out West, the Warriors are really the only team I can see competing with those two because of the three-point shooting. Mm-hmm. And, the Suns have been the best team all season long, but they've looked shaky. And we got to talk about a little bit about the Dallas Mavericks.
They look good.
Luka Doncic has been the best player in the playoffs so far.
Brunson's been amazing.
Future Nick.
If they can get something out of the rest of their players, not including Luka Doncic, they could beat this team.
And you know what's crazy? Jason Kidd started out as a coach right here in Brooklyn. and he was not that good.
No.
But, coaches can develop too, and he went to Milwaukee, kind of flamed out there, won a championship with the Lakers as an assistant, and now he's in Dallas, and I trust him. I trust that he's going to have those guys ready.
Let's see what happens. That game in Phoenix, Game 5 tonight. That series is also tied at 2. Very, very quickly before we get to baseball, we got a little debate in baseball I want to discuss. 516-572-7440 if you want to join the discussion. Jokic over Embiid. The more I looked at the numbers, the more I said, okay, this was the right decision with the way they finished the season. Embiid was banged up. So I think they got this right.
I was never on the Embiid winning the MVP conversation. I was never in on that. I thought he should be either second or third, no question, the whole time. I never thought he should win.
So here's my thing. If it were up to me, I'm giving the third MVP to Giannis.
Wow.
Okay.
But, I know how voter fatigue works.
Oh, you mean the winner?
Yeah.
Oh, and so not third place. You mean he should have won?
Yeah. I'm giving Giannis Antetokounmpo his third MVP.
Oh, my God.
But I know how voter fatigue works, and I know it doesn't work that way. And
well, Jokic won last year.
Yeah.
That's true, but they let back-to-back winners in. They
They
don't let the 3-time whatever. Giannis would have had to be incredible to win it, and I get that. But Joel Embiid, man, if we're talking about value,
It was him.
yeah.
I disagree completely. I think if you look at Jokic and the team he had.
Well, no, you're right. You can make the same exact argument for both. I agree with you. But I don't know, man. They were better this season. I know it's not, your team did this. But when you're talking about value to a team, yes, Jokic was massively important, and they didn't have many players. But the 76ers were better, and they were better because of Joel. That ship ran through Joel Embiid.
If you take Jokic off the Nuggets and let them just play this year, no Jokic, and without Jamal Murray all year, they're in the lottery.
But, Matt, consider, because the whole Ben Simmons saga happened in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
So you're dealing with that, and then Harden comes in and he's the shell of himself later on. But if Joel Embiid's off that team with everything that they were going through, too, they're not even close. Yeah. They don't even make the playoffs, probably.
I would guess that the Nuggets were slightly better, but that's just me.
Embiid dropped 30 points per game as a center doing Kobe fadeaways. Come on, what are we talking about?
He's built
Jokic
different.
nearly averaged a triple-double. Look at the assist game for him.
But, Embiid can... Okay, Embiid can do everything.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be second.
It's a debate. It's neck and neck, and I know Jokic is deserving. That's the tough part about this. Jokic was totally deserving.
Jokic is also forced into a role where he has to be the distributor. Mm-hmm. If Embiid was forced into that role, he could do that. He could play that game. He just doesn't have to. He's had, Tyrese Maxey, who's emerged, in my opinion, into a star this season, and then now he has Harden, so he's had facilitators around him all season long. And that's why it's so close.
This too, I take a really high stock in defensive value, what you add on the defensive end. We can't debate that Embiid is the better defender, though. Too.
Jokic got a lot of steals.
Jokic is an underrated defender, I'll give you that, but he's not an Embiid.
He's not.
So that's my problem with it, but congratulations to Nikola Jokic.
516-572-7440 if you want to join the show. We're going to talk about the Mets and the Yankees right now. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Michael Merlo, Joshua Umahi, and Matt Leonard with you. All right, the Mets are in Washington. They start a 3-game set tonight. The Yankees are home to play 2 games versus the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, I'm blanking on where the Blue Jays are coming from. But don't you guys feel like it's almost like a waste? 2 games?
No.
2-game series?
Probably makeup games because of lockout.
No,
right?
it's not.
No?
It's a 2-game series.
Scheduled
2-game series.
Then that's dumb.
Right?
That's dumb.
It's a weird way.
I really thought it was a lockout makeup thing.
No, I mean the Mets had one too. The first series of the year, or the second series of the year, excuse me, was supposed to be Braves for 2.
That's right.
It makes no sense to me to have a team travel all this way to play 2 games. Whatever, the Yankees play 2 tonight. The pitching matchups for the Mets and the Yankees. The Mets got Carrasco on the mound, and they are facing Patrick Corbin. And the Yankees are facing, I cannot say his first name. Is it UC?
Might be Yusei.
Yusei. It's Yusei Kikuchi. I know how to say last name. Yusei Kikuchi, who pitched well against them in Toronto last Wednesday against Luis Severino. I think the Blue Jays start with the Yankees here. I think the Blue Jays are going to be a little more motivated this time around because, listen, the Yankees just went in, had a big winning streak, and yes, you snapped it, but they went to that stadium for the first 2 games of that series and smacked the Blue Jays around. I think the Blue Jays are going to come in here motivated. They're going to want to hit Severino. It's a big start for him. He didn't look great last time around. Severino against a good Blue Jays lineup at home. I think there's going to be a little more pressure on Severino this time, and the Blue Jays are going to come in here saying, listen, you got the Blue Jays hat on. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I wore it because I thought Anthony was going to be here. I was trying to piss him off, but it didn't work.
Damn. That's unfortunate. Take a picture and send it to him. Say, hey, how you feeling about tonight's game?
Just a beaming smile, too, like, petty.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Do it.
Send a picture to him?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yes. Send a picture to him, unless he's listening and he wants to call in.
Anthony, if you're listening, call in the show. I'm wearing a Blue Jays hat.
But 516-572-7440 is the number to join. Listen, I got a problem with Yankee fans, actually. Let me do this. Let me start.
What now?
Yankees took 2 out of 3 from the Texas Rangers over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
You beat the bad teams. You love to see a series win, especially after the winning streak, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't score that many runs. They scored 5 runs over the weekend, okay? And into Monday. 5 runs, won them the series. Yankee fans are still complaining. They're complaining about that.
Are you kidding me?
They're upset. They're like, oh, same old Yankees. Only scored 5 runs.
But winning games. They're winning games.
You scored more runs than the other team.
Come on.
You beat them. You beat them 2 out of 3.
That's all you can ask for as a fan.
For the love of God. They actually didn't outscore them. I shouldn't say that. But anyway.
All you can ask for as a fan is win the series. We know that as Mets fans.
You won the series enough. For the love of God. 2 out of 3. You pitched a great series. Great. Pitched great.
Cortez was amazing.
Incredible. Like, if you consider
almost no hitter.
Yeah. What, he took him to the 8th inning?
Yeah, went out in the 8th.
That's incredible. He's probably been their best pitcher this year.
Oh, no question. Starting pitcher, yes.
He's been one of the best pitchers in the American League this year.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And to that point, and to your point, Mike, like, it's interesting. You would think Yankee fans, considering the circumstances of like an inconsistent offense that we knew was going to be the case heading into the season, and again, you didn't know about the starting pitching. You were kind of unsure about it. Now, they've been great, but you're unsure about it, and things have worked out so far. If I were a Yankee fan, and again, I'm a Knicks fan, so these are like my brothers in like paranoia, right? But if I was a Yankee fan, I'd be thrilled. I wouldn't be complaining about anything.
Yep.
No, you can't be. And you said it. Their offense is inconsistent. They're going to be inconsistent.
Yes.
Their makeup is inconsistent. Big boppers. They're not all going to be, Judge isn't going to be hot and Stanton will be cold, and then vice versa. You're going to have guys, in slumps at the same time, but you're also going to get these guys hot at the same time, which is great. And those are the days where you look unstoppable. So the offense is going to be inconsistent this season. I have no doubts about that. But if you have a pitching staff that is pitching this well, you should not be complaining. This is your strongest part of your team. And if they are going to pitch like this, and if their bullpen's going to pitch like the way they are, I'm just talking about the starting staff, but let's add the bullpen into this. If the bullpen's going to pitch like this too, damn, you got a really great chance, because your pitching rotation overall, your pitching staff overall, is going to keep you in games.
Exactly. And again, the Yankees, they're kind of in an interesting spot, because I think most Yankee fans would say, they're satisfied with the start. Some would even be like ecstatic with the start so far, but I think most would say that they need more. They need more additions, maybe another bat, maybe another bullpen arm, even though that's been solid too. The Yankees bullpen has been very solid. I don't know. That's the one thing I could kind of point to with Yankee fans where I would understand it.
It's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's never enough for them. And, when you listen to Talk Radio, you even listen to some guys here at the station, and Ross, me and Ross have debated this about, the Met bullpen, and it's like, it's May, and we're discussing adding players. Like,
if you be fair, May's the problem with the bullpen.
Yes. Do I believe the Mets need to add in the bullpen? Yeah, I believe in a month or two, they will have to add. And honest to God, and I knock on wood, and I hope nothing happens, to both teams, there may be other needs due to some injuries or something happening in a couple of months. But I'm not looking toward that right now. I'll look toward needs for this team down the stretch in June. What I think the Mets need in October, we'll think about it in June, because they have to trade by the trade deadline August 2nd. I'll think about it then. Right now, I'm not thinking about that. And you hear talk radio and you hear Yankee fans either talking about their team or the Mets. Oh, the Mets got to add this. The Mets got to add that. The Mets right now are fine. The Yankees right now are fine and are going to be fine, both of them. Let's not rush this along, please. Let's enjoy this.
It is really going to be an interesting time in June and July where we're getting closer to the trade deadline because, again, the fact that, well, I'm surprised that both teams start. I thought both teams were going to be really good. I didn't expect, one of the best records in the NL, if not the best record in the American League. Like, I didn't expect that through early May. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens, what they do. I expect, obviously, Steve Cohen to be aggressive. That's his nature. That's what he's done so far. So I would have no reason to expect different. But it's going to be interesting what Brian Cashman does because he's gotten a lot of heat for not adding talent. Now, guys like that some Yankee fans are crying about, like Trevor Story, who's been horrible.
Yep.
He's been so bad. And guys like Correa, who I'm not sure how he's doing.
He's hurt.
So he's hurt. So, yeah, he gets hurt. He has like a ailing back. He got other stuff going on.
He had the back. He's got a finger now.
Yeah.
An injury-prone guy. Like some of the guys you missed on getting and you kind of, as fans, wanted them to get, they're not panning out so well right now.
You screamed and cried about not getting them, and you're right. They haven't worked out. I always trust Brian Cashman. For the most part, I trust him. I've gone back and forth on whether or not they should fire him or not. But he's been very solid for them. And you know what? He is right when he says, I don't agree with him complaining about not winning championships, but winning championships is tough. And you could have the best team in the league and not win a championship.
But you know how Yankee fans are, though. The 27 rings, like they expect excellence every season.
Yeah.
Yankee fans, if you're mad, please call up and debate us.
Yes. It's what it is. So, again, you can't fault them for being how they've always been. But say we get to July and they're still at the top of the American League and they're pulling away from a team like, well, not maybe pulling away. Say they're like 3-4 games up on Toronto.
Mm-hmm. But they're a lock for the playoffs.
Yeah, you're a lock for the playoffs, but I feel like a lot of Yankee fans would be like, we need more. We need to, whatever is available out there.
You can always add more.
Yeah, exactly. But imagine if Brian Cashman, again, all that scenario plays out, and he doesn't do anything, or very minor moves that don't really mean much. I feel like Yankee fans would be heated. Don't you think?
They're always heated.
Yeah, I mean, I see both sides of that one, because, like, if your team is 3-4 games up on your division rival, you're a lock for the playoffs, you know you're getting in, don't you want to be that much better and make a big splash and really put yourself so far ahead?
Well, there may not be a need for a big splash, but the things you do at the deadline, if you are an elite team, that right now there's no holes, and you try and prepare for the worst, and you try and add depth. That's all you could do. You add depth. You say, okay, if I have this guy, you trade for players, and you say, if this guy goes down, I trust him to be a perfect replacement. That's what you do. You add depth to your pen, your starting rotation. That's what you do. And that's probably what I would say the Yankees and the Mets right now. If they have to do something at the deadline, that's what they would do. But again, we don't know how the next 2 months are going to go. We are a very long time from that. The Mets, like we said, in Washington. Washington's interesting to me because I was there, met the fans. Fans are great.
They are
really?
great.
They are great. They're the opposite of Yankee fans, where. And I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing because, it's always good to be, you're a Yankee fan. You strive for greatness. You strive, there's no reason why we should be bad. There's no reason why we shouldn't spend money. And they're right. Just like the Mets are going to get to that point, I think. But they understand, we had 10 years of excellence. 10 years. And we got a World Series out of it. I'm okay with a rebuild right now. They're okay with it.
Will they be singing the same tune if they lose Juan Soto, though?
And I wrote that down. Because that's when I was in D.C. and we were talking, with my friend, we were talking to them, and they said, listen, we know it'll be tough to sign him or re-sign him, but just please don't go anywhere in the division.
I don't know.
That's all you can want as a fan of the team.
Or trade, if you know you're not going to sign him as much as it would hurt, trade him. But in my opinion, I don't think they should even. I think that they should just give him whatever he wants.
They're in the middle of a owner sale right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like uncertain right now.
They
whether
have.
they're going to do it.
This is the worst time for him to be ready to go to free agency. This is the worst possible time for them.
Well, he's not. I think it's like 2 years away.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the organization, this isn't a good time.
Maybe they're trying to sell the team so that the fans,
Maybe.
the Nationals can keep them. Their owners are very wealthy,
Yeah.
and it's a wealthy ball club.
Yeah.
I think they're top 15 in worth, at least top 20. I think they're top 15 though. But they have very wealthy owners. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to keep them. All right. Anyway, about the Nationals, quickly, before we start this debate of whose rotation is better, the Mets or the Yankees.
Ooh.
Pitching rotation, 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, whatever it is, not bullpen.
So just starters.
Just starters. But
Okay.
first, you see the year Yadiel Hernandez and Josh Bell are having?
Yeah.
If you haven't, and you're a Mets
I haven't
fan,
seen Josh Bell. Yadiel Hernandez I've been looking at.
Josh Bell's batting like 350.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Him?
Yeah, go look it up. And he had like a similar start to a season in 2019
Pittsburgh,
in
yeah.
Pittsburgh,
I remember he was an all-star, the home run derby and everything.
because he got into the All-Star game as the NL first baseman over Pete that year.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, really? But I'm like, all right, Bell was the better player in the first half. He flamed out. Pete didn't.
Pete won the derby.
Do you have his numbers up there?
They're catching me by surprise here.
What's he
I'm a little
batting?
shocked. Let me pull it up here. It's loading. My iPad's a little
okay.
iffy on the service.
School
but-
Wi-Fi sucks.
No, trust me.
Thanks, school.
Thank you.
We need more money in the budget for internet.
Hey, taxpayer dollars at work, right, Matt?
You got the
343 average.
Ooh.
OPS at 971. 971 for Josh Bell.
What's his slugging at?
Slugging? Let me see.
Got to be 600 something.
No.
No?
It's looking like
Like low 600 is my guess.
530.
Yeah.
530
What? His
slugging.
on base that high?
Yeah, 442 on base,
Oh my
bro.
God.
He's not getting
For
out.
Josh Bell. That's crazy.
He's not getting out. So
That's like Mike Trout numbers.
this will be interesting. And Yadiel Hernandez, same thing. He's having a fantastic year. So
He killed the Mets when they played in Washington. They won, but he killed them.
he always did. Last year he played them well too. He didn't play as much as I thought he would in the opening series. I don't know if he was hurt or whatever, but he didn't play that much. Now he's getting regular at bats. And of course we haven't mentioned Juan Soto as a player on the Mets facing him yet. I mean, he's still in that lineup, so they're not that terrible. I'm telling you right now. I think they're the best last place team. If that makes sense.
Not even whoever's in the NL West in last place right now?
Well, they won't be. How about that? Even though, shout out to the D-backs, man.
Yeah.
16 and 14. I'm happy for them. I'm happy. And it makes the Mets wins look better.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
I was just thinking that.
Like, the Mets went in there and they didn't play their best ball and they beat them 4 out of 6. And I'm not saying that, oh my God, we should be impressed by that. But
They
it's,
blew them out some games.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets weren't just beating nobody.
There's some guys that can pitch over there in Arizona. It's weird to
Zach
see.
Gallen, Merrill
Kelly's having a great year.
Merrill Kelly's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year.
Yeah.
And Zach Gallen's been really good, too. And that kid Castellanos, Roberto Castellanos, I can't believe we're talking about the Diamondbacks. All right, Mets or Yankees, rotation, who's the best, 1 through 5?
1 through 5.
1 through 5.
So not like Peterson. Well, give me the Mets 5.
right.
Your Mets 5.
All right, my Mets 5 is Scherzer, Bassett,
McGill.
Carrasco, Walker.
So no Peterson, Walker instead.
I guess
You want to do best 5?
I guess just okay, take the starting pitchers that have started for this team.
Okay.
No guys in the bullpen. So Peterson,
Okay.
fine. If there's a 6 starter for
She's
the
been
Yankees.
great starting games to the Mets.
Right. If there's a 6 starter for the Yankees and you want to throw him in there, throw him in there.
Okay.
I'm blanking on
Yeah, I
whoever
can't
started
think either.
a 6th game for, been a 6th man for them. If you want to throw Michael King in there, that's fine. But
Oh, that totally skews the argument.
I know you're right because the Yankees would be ahead. I'm saying the Mets 1 through 5 are better.
I'm with you.
And
We all agree.
we all agree.
Well, that
We're
was
all-
the debate.
We're all Mets fans.
Yeah.
But I would
Let's
really
point that out.
I'd really love.
If you want to dive into the numbers, though, it's a real debate. It's close.
It's a real debate. I'd love if a Yankee fan was listening and can have this argument with us.
Anthony didn't want to be here today.
516-572-7440. But the way Bassett has pitched for me is what puts them over the edge. Because obviously Scherzer is the best
Yeah,
pitcher.
you know what you're getting.
You know exactly what you're getting. Even at his worst, you saw it on Sunday, gives you a chance to win. Bassett's been unbelievable. Then you go to McGill, who has been a godsend. I think his ERA just is over 2. If it's,
I think it might be a little under 2.
it's
After
a
the
little
last
under
start, maybe
2.
not.
He gave up 3 earned runs in the last start.
Yeah, I was there. It was not a pretty game.
Then you got Carrasco, who has been surprisingly very good. His last start against St.
That was horrendous, his last start.
His last start versus, Atlanta was unbelievable.
That was great. What was the start? Before that was
the
bad.
St. Louis start was
awful.
really bad. But the start against
Carrasco's ERA is 3.30. It's not bad. For your fourth starter, that's not bad.
It's not bad, and it's skewed because he had that one bad start.
Yep.
McGill's ERA is 2.43, but he's been
That's pretty good.
He's been a godsend, and I've said this before. It makes you forget about Jacob deGrom,
which is crazy. That is wild.
I
But
did
you're
forget
absolutely
about
right.
Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, Jacob deGrom is like
an afterthought.
They've been doing so well. It's like
Best pitcher on the planet. He's just not in our minds right now.
it's like I'll sit back and I'm
That's
like, oh,
insane.
the New York Mets. I've really enjoyed watching them. Oh, Jacob deGrom, the best pitcher in baseball, is supposed to be coming back in a month or two.
And when I think, and I think this is good for my mental health, when I think about the future of this team going forward, the next few months, I don't put him in that picture.
You've said that before.
He doesn't pitch anymore.
And honest to God, that's a very pessimistic view. I do think he'll pitch again for the Mets. I'm coming back around on that. That was a very pessimistic view.
Kind of like Syndergaard did for like 2 innings at the end of the year.
That's
ceremonial.
Talk about pessimism.
That's pessimistic. But I think about it as, okay, Scherzer's our 1, Bassett's our 2, McGill/Carrasco's our 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in a playoff series we started today. Yeah.
I'm thinking about a playoff series with these guys. And if DeGrom's back, holy crap, but I am not getting my hopes up for that. I'm just not.
You can win any playoff series against any team with that pitching rotation alone.
You think so?
Yes.
I would add
the best rotation in baseball, in my opinion.
I would add probably another depth piece to that.
I would too in case of injury.
But
if those guys are all healthy, that's the best rotation in baseball, no question.
That's crazy. Without the best pitcher in
Yeah.
baseball.
It's wild to think about.
It's a
This
credit.
is how they're overperforming.
Right. It's a credit to how great Bassett's been. He's been unbelievable. One of the best pitchers in the National League and the best pitchers in baseball. Tyler McGill, same thing. One of the better pitchers in the National League to start this season. And if he continues this, when he goes out there, I'm like a little skeptical. Oh, it's not going to stay the same. He's not going to be this great.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to just break.
But he proves me wrong every time. By the way, actually, I don't want to talk about playoffs.
Okay.
But I don't think McGill will be a starter in the playoffs.
You think he'll be a reliever?
Yeah.
He throws harder out of the bullpen, I assume, right?
He may throw a little harder. I'm not even worried about velocity. I'm worried about his
One of
innings.
those long relief guys in the bullpen?
Right. He'll come in. If you need an inning or two, he'll come in, get it. Or if you
Or if a
need...
starter gets like knocked out early or something, he'll give you a chance to stay in the game.
Right. He's that guy.
As we saw in his opening day start, he's shown that he can be ready for anything.
Oh, yeah.
I actually like that take.
That's a great point. That's a great point. It's just because of his innings limit. I think they'd be a little skeptical of
He
that.
was a rookie last year, so yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like with Harvey. We were coming off injury, but still, same situation.
516-572-7440. You want to join the discussion? You can. That's the number to join. You were listening to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I cannot believe what I'm about to say. Like, really.
Okay.
I'm shocked
Okay.
that these words and these numbers are about to come out of my mouth. So, if you haven't seen, Tom Brady has agreed to be the Fox NFL's lead game analyst. Okay, so he is taking the spot of Troy Aikman.
Good.
But he'll be taking the spot of somebody else, technically, because he's not retiring this year. So, Greg Olson, I think, will take Aikman's spot, and then Brady will take his spot.
Could bring Jason Witten back to the booth.
No. But Tom Brady is going to be the next Troy Aikman of Fox. And Troy Aikman has left Fox, and he's on to ESPN making $18 million a year.
Kevin Burkhart's their play-by-play guy now?
Kevin Burkhart's the new play-by-play guy.
Right? Yeah.
The big guy.
That would be a great tandem.
Yeah, him and Brady. That'd be awesome.
Outstanding.
Well, we're going to get it soon, but here's the catch.
Brady's not retiring till he's 50.
Tom Brady is announced, it's not really announced, but this is a rumor, and this is, I think, true, the contract.
It's ridiculous.
10 years, $375 million to call NFL games.
Do you realize he's going to make more as an announcer than he did as a player?
He has made $300-something million as a player to the state. It'll be up to $320 at the end of this year.
he can retire after this year and make more money out of this contract than his whole playing career. That blows my mind.
$37.5 million.
You know, Mike, you sent the link in the group chat, and my initial thought was,
That's fake.
I thought it was fake. Yeah, that was actually my first reaction.
I thought it was a joke. Like, there's no way.
But my second thought was, this is Tony Romo's fault.
Yes, it is.
Do you remember when Tony Romo signed that deal with CBS?
Yes.
It was like, what, $20 million per year?
Yeah.
Yes.
And everybody was like, that's insane. Like, why would you give a retired quarterback that much money to not even do play-by-play, to call color? Like, huh?
It's Tony Romo, and then in the NFL, it's Christian Kirk with the wide receiver market. It's the same situation.
The same exact thing, just different.
Someone was stupid enough to pay up, and now everyone's going to suffer.
I bet Tom Brady at the Fox negotiating table, like, yeah, that guy, $20 million, best quarterback in the world. Yeah.
Best quarterback in the history of the world.
I'm going to need you to double that.
Here's the thing. We've seen this, like this just complete frenzy of, free agency when it comes to NFL play-by-play and color guys. It's going to look and sound a lot different this season. You've got Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on Amazon doing Thursday night games. You've got now Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth doing NBC. ESPN's got Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, and now Fox will have Kevin Burkhardt, and then it'll have whoever replaces Aikman. I think it'll be Greg Olsen. But it's going to be different. It's going to be a lot different. But the money paid to these guys was unbelievable. Now, let me give you some numbers. So, Aikman got $18 million. Buck got $15.5, so that equals $33.5. Mm-hmm. Now, my initial reaction when they lost these guys was, good for Fox. They realize they have the best game packages of, better than CBS, better than ESPN, better than all these guys. That doesn't matter who's calling the game, as long as they're competent, you're going to get the viewers.
Yeah.
But no, they said, no, we're going to pay this guy $37.5 million for the next 10 years.
You know what? It's crazy that you just said all that, by the way, because I remember all those moves happening, but it just kind of set in now. Like, it's going to be so weird.
You got to turn on ESPN, it's going to sound like Fox.
It's going to be so weird. Like, ESPN is going to get...
ESPN's going to be good now.
Yeah, they're going to get marquee games on Monday night. When's the last time we had that?
I hate Joe Buck, but it's going to make the year, right? Marquee games are going to happen now.
Yeah, they're going to get really good games, and Sunday night's going to be like the lesser of like two competitors.
I mean, like I'm not at all going to miss Steve Levy, Louis Riddick, and Brian Greasy, but
it don't get worse than Jason Witten though.
Yeah,
that was because it was so hilarious because everyone, when they announced that he was going to ESPN, it's going to be great. Jason Witten,
I thought it was going to be good,
amazing. Like, he knows football. He's a long time.
He was a football lifer, like, come on. But no, he was terrible.
He was good with the media too. Like, oh my god.
So this is from the source of the story about him. Fox getting him, and then the contract. Andrew Marchand on Twitter from the New York Post. So he reported 10 years, $375 million. Now, the network, Fox corporate spokesperson Brian Nick said, two first names, nice. What has been reported isn't an accurate description of the deal, and we have not released details beyond what was disclosed on our quarterly earnings call.
So Brady's getting more.
I don't think it's any different. I think the numbers are still correct.
Oh, but yeah.
It's somewhere in that range, and either way, it's just unbelievable.
If he makes anything more than 20, it's insane. 37.5.
Remember this. Amazon was ready to offer Sean McVay $20 million a year to leave.
That's wild.
The Rams.
This is getting ridiculous.
It is getting ridiculous because, again,
it's ruining the game now.
I don't know if it ruins the game because...
If Brady retires early to do this, it ruins the game.
But he's not.
But what if he... If I'm Tom Brady, I retire now.
Okay, it's Tom Brady, though, A, so we don't know when he's going to retire, and B, he should have retired years ago. He's 45 years old. We're lucky to see Tom Brady at this age.
He's still elite, though.
He is, but we're lucky to see him at this age. And I don't know if that necessarily ruins it. If Sean McVay was to leave because of that contract, okay, that's an argument.
Yeah.
Sean McVay's a young guy. He's innovative, just won a Super Bowl.
He's in his coaching prime.
Right, he's different. But... It really is crazy. He's
younger than Tom Brady.
It's a $110 billion, business. That's what it is. It's huge.
It's wild. And first of all, I think we're all trying to get into broadcasting one day. So hey,
Yeah.
good for us.
Yeah, really.
if we make it. So
Well, I mean, you got to be a former player first. Apparently, that's the key to getting the money.
Yeah, I don't know. Joe Buck got what, 15 million?
No,
$15.5
Really?
million a year. Yeah.
That is
Wow.
So there's that, and hey, if you're Tom Brady, if you had this money lined up, right, why are you coming back to play another season?
That's what I'm saying.
That just shows his will. Like, he is just a different human
because it's
being.
waiting for him. That's why.
I don't know.
They're willing to wait for him. That's the craziest part.
He gotta play that Saints defense again. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the right move, Tom.
They might take him out.
Yeah.
That's
no.
funny.
I mean, honestly, why isn't Peyton in a booth somewhere?
Because he has his own like company called Omaha Productions or whatever they call it. It's Omaha something.
Yeah, Omaha Productions. Yeah,
And Omaha Productions owns the rights to the Manning cast.
Oh.
So whatever Manning cast is done on ESPN, notice how they call K-Rod like a Manning cast. They're doing a Manning cast for the PGA Tour with ESPN. They own the rights to that, so their production people do it.
Really?
So, yeah. So I think
there's
he's
one
making,
with WNBA, I think, right? With Sue Bird and somebody, Diana Taurasi, right?
they own that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think they expect this to blow up. I just didn't want it. You're right, though. He got offered the same amount.
Yeah. He would be great. He's funny. Like, I love him. I love hearing him talk.
I know, but I think he wants more. I think he wants to start this new thing.
Yeah.
Then go into it. But
I don't blame him.
again, ESPN offered him $15 to $20 million a year to do it.
And turn it down to start his own company. That's risky and that's smart by him.
I think they offered Eli money too. They wanted Eli to ESPN.
That's
they
a little
got
different.
They got desperate. I think Eli would be great.
He wouldn't be as good as Peyton in the booth. I wouldn't think so.
By the way, Kayvon Thibodeau got number 5.
Nice.
Which is special for me.
Nice.
You know, David
Fine.
Wright.
Oh, yeah,
Kayvon
okay,
Thibodeau.
yeah.
That's cool for me, so I got to go get that jersey.
That's nice.
He donated $50,000 to some charity I think Graham Gano likes.
Oh, that's cool.
So he gets the number. I'm going to go buy the jersey.
Oh, he took Gano's number. That's right.
Yes,
That's
Gano
why.
was
I was like, why is he donating money?
right. Gano was 5. He takes the money now.
$50,000 for a number on a football jersey. That's insanity.
He just got paid $35 million.
It's still insanity.
I know. But you know, Kayvon, he's going to be repping his brand somewhere, making all this money. Kayvon's all about that. Don't draft him because he's worried about making money off the field and being a big personality. But don't draft that guy.
The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to look so stupid.
They already do.
They do, but they're going to look even more like idiotic in 3 years. Watch.
Yeah.
Maybe sooner than that.
Zach Wilson's going to have a better year than Trevor Lawrence. I'm saying it right now.
Wow.
That's a nice little bold prediction.
I don't hate that, actually. I hate that.
The NFC East, so last season, the Cowboys and the Eagles had the 2 easiest schedules in the league. And the Giants and the football team had...
Commanders now.
Well, they were the football
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They had harder schedules because their 2020 season was a little better than them, than the other 2.
Yeah, they won the division, the Commanders or football team, whatever you want to call
And
them.
the Giants were second.
Yeah.
So their schedules were a little more difficult, while the Eagles and Cowboys were the easiest. Now, the 4 of them rank 28, 29, 29, 30, 31, 32. Easiest schedules. NFC East has the easiest schedules this year.
Why the Cowboys? Why would they do that?
The Cowboys have statistically the easiest.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. They love the Cowboys.
They were good last year.
They just want the Cowboys to succeed. All right. We didn't get to James Bradbury again. We're not going to because I want to save the last 3.5 minutes. We don't have any hockey guys here, but I think we can get our ways through.
Let's try this.
So the New York Rangers last night. Oh boy. Oh boy. I wish we had clips. Goal! 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 Or we could just have the Penguin fans chanting Igor.
You know what that reminded me of? Do you remember the 2013 wild card game in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Against the Reds of Johnny Cueto? He dropped the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, exact same thing.
They are taunting this guy. They were doing it when he got benched in the first game. They were doing it last night when he got onto the ice, when he was on the ice, and when he got taken out of the game last night. Just a brutal performance from him. Again, back-to-back brutal performances on the road. The Penguins take a 3-1 lead. They come back tomorrow night at MSG. I'm sure we'll have more on that tomorrow, but man, that is tough. I mean, you needed this game not only just to, give yourself a chance in this series. I mean, they still got a chance, but I think it's slim at this point. But he needed that, I think, for himself, for his reputation. I mean, you're going to be the Vezina Award winner. You were the best goalie all season long. One of the best seasons, really, for a Ranger goalie in a while. I've heard people say, as great as Lundqvist was, he never had a single season as good as the one Igor just had.
Yep.
And not in the playoffs, though. Hank stepped up in the playoffs when he needed to. And Igor has not.
To be fair to Igor, this is his first full year in the NHL.
Yes.
To be totally fair to him.
This is, well, let me start off by saying my hockey knowledge is not that extensive.
Try.
But
Go for it.
I'll make a comparison. So, last year's New York Knicks, right?
If you say he's like Julius Randle, I'm going to kill you.
No. I'm going to say a young team that, surprised a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where the Rangers finished, but they had a really good season. Really
They were great. They were really good.
exceeded expectations.
Better than the Knicks were in that year when they were the 4 seed. Better.
Yeah. But it's kind of similar in the fact that, again, we're riding high. We know how New York fans get. We kind of get delusional at times.
Really?
And, the Knicks ran into, Trae Young and that crew and got bounced in 5. And I hate to say it, but just, again, when I'm watching hockey, I'm like, what is going on most of the time? But I don't know. I can kind of see that comparison.
They're a young and experienced team.
Yeah.
And listen, unlike the Knicks, we thought the Knicks would get back, but we scaled back, I think, a little bit of the expectations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they may be a little worse, but we thought they'd get to the playoffs.
Right.
The Rangers are expected to come back next year and be...
Get better.
Exactly. Get better. Be a dominant team in the
they're
East.
young.
So let's hope they do that. But, hey, let's hope they come back in this series. 3-1. They're not dead yet.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, MSG. That place should be rocking. And by the way...
Sorry.
Yeah.
Josh had a great final thought for today.
Oh, yes.
What?
Yes. So,
You got it?
Yeah, I do. Field Yates, our buddy Field Yates tweeted, Commanders have agreed to terms with guard Chris Paul on a 4-year,
How funny is that?
$3 million contract.
Of course they did.
Yeah, well, I guess Chris Paul, the fan thing got too stressful for him. And he
It's what sports. Could you imagine him playing offensive line? He's like 6'1". He's like 130 pounds.
that would be something, but
You want to talk about terrible franchises?
Oh,
They are up there, the Commanders.
Yeah.
That team is up there. All
I
right.
mean, the Seahawks drafted Kobe Bryant, so
They did. They did.
great look for them.
He actually wasn't terrible in college.
He
either.
wasn't. He was
played,
good.
He played alongside Sauce, so
Yeah.
let's see how much that has to do with anything.
If you're going to wear the number 8, you better be good. If you're going to honor Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, really. All right.
in Seattle.
So we don't get in trouble today. Thanks for listening to WHPC Sports Talk. For Joshua Umahi and Matt Leonard, I'm Michael Merlo here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Enjoy the rest of your night.